Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Warzone 2 is on the horizon. November 16th is coming up here very soon, just a couple of weeks after the launch of MW2 on October 28th. And the Warzone 2.0 launch update is going to be massive, as we've talked about previously. But today I wanted to go through a list of things that I feel Warzone 2.0 needs to, I guess, prioritize to really make that new leap from Warzone 1 to Warzone 2 a major one. Sort of a wish list in a sense, but also now that we've seen so much about Warzone 2 surface officially from Call of Duty, we have a better sense of what to expect, and I feel like that really helps break things down more in a specific way. Now, as we've talked about on the channel recently, a separate application for Warzone 2 that is different from Modern Warfare 2 is almost a must-have. At Call of Duty Next, the creators that were there did note that the applications were different between the MW2 beta that they played and the Warzone 2 alpha that they played. That could have been because of differences in updates. That could have been for a multitude of reasons. Hopefully, though, we don't see a repeat scenario of MW 2019 where both the main multiplayer and premium experience with MW2 is connected to the same app as Warzone 2, because that just causes a whole mess of issues, right? With updating things, with advancing the technology and the engine behind things, changing things in one game versus the other. So long as MW2 and Warzone 2 are two separate downloads on two different applications, we're to be good to go. That in and of itself should be a massive priority. And I say that because it makes some of these following points even easier to actually act on. Next gen, or really what is current gen features. We're talking 120 FOV, we're talking 120 Hertz on console, the full capabilities to utilize the next gen tech for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, available for everyone. Obviously, with MW2 in the beta there, we had access to all of that on console. FOV sliders, all the new options, all the new settings, and that's great. However, we don't have official confirmation yet on if Warzone 2 will have those features, but that said, there's zero reason it shouldn't, because we've been told time and time again that the MW2 engine and the Warzone 2.0 engine were built from the ground up together off of our previous MW 2019 engine, so they share the exact same tech. There's no reason that one would have features and the other wouldn't. So I'm fully expecting these current gen features to be available. But let's say they weren't at launch. With Warzone 2 being a separate app, that would allow those to be, added in at a later date potentially. But like I said, I fully expect them to be there come day one. On top of that, I also feel like Warzone 2 at some point is going to have multiple maps available on a rotation. We've talked a lot about recently how reportedly the Resurgence maps, Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, are going to be removed from Warzone 1 after Warzone 2 drops, but there's no ETA, there's no time frame, there's nothing official on Resurgence maps or smaller maps coming to Warzone 2 near launch whatsoever. The leaks and the rumors have stated anywhere between 6 and 12 months post-launch we might see a small map added in. And honestly, at first, I don't feel like we need much more than Al Mazrah. It's a brand new game, brand new play space, brand new experience. We can play that for multiple months on end and still be discovering new things. So I don't think we need multiple maps right away. But we also can't have a repeat of Warzone 1 where we're stuck on potentially one map for a long period of time. We need multiple maps, and ideally we need a map rotation, whether that is for a Resurgence mode with Rebirth and Fortune's Keep or whatever the new small maps could be, or if it's in the main Battle Royale mode with Al Mazrah rotating with something else, Verdansk, or maybe an entirely new map as well. We'll obviously have to wait and see, but map rotations and multiple maps available are pretty crucial for any Battle Royale right now, maybe with the exception of Fortnite, because that one's sort of always ever changing, if you will. I just feel like that's something that Warzone 2 really needs. And again, going back to the separate application feature, a big problem with Warzone 1 was the download size. If it's a separate app, that's not nearly as much of a concern, so it all sort of rotates back to that, right? Also, quick side note, as we're going through all this today, if you guys are new to the channel, every day I got you covered with news, updates, loadouts, tips, literally everything in COD. You're gonna find it right here on the channel, the one-stop shop for all your needs. So if you're interested in staying up to date with all that, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. We are on the road to 1 million. Would love to have you join the family. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, you like the ideas that I'm proposing here for Warzone 2, be sure to drop a like on it. It does really help grow the channel and share the video around. Next up here, the anti-cheat. We don't have to spend too much time on this one, but the anti-cheat needs serious improvements and serious enhancements. We know Ricochet is going to be available in Warzone 2.0 from day one. I'm hoping to see significant upgrades to it. Obviously, the anti-cheat does some stuff. It stops hackers here and there. It stops cheaters here and there. It detects cheat programs when it's active, but it's far from perfect. Cheats still slip through. There's still way too many controversies on if this person's cheating, if they're not. So we just need a better anti-cheat, just straightforward. I'm hoping to see that with Warzone 2. There's no excuse as to why we couldn't get a better one with upgraded engines and everything going on there. This next priority is not one that is related to gameplay, but just the game in general. We need more and better transparent communication. This is something that's been up and down and sort of all over the place throughout Warzone 1. To start the year, communication was really not all that great. Over time, it improved a ton with Raven at the helm, obviously, for the past year or so. Pretty much all throughout the COD era, maybe the end of the Cold War era as well. The communication has been very solid. Accurate patch notes, good listening to feedback, and getting the community's insights as to what they'd want, what they wouldn't want. Of course, they can't act on everything, but the communication attempts are there and the transparency is there. We definitely need a lot of that going into Warzone 2. Now, shifting back to focus on gameplay, something else I'd love to see in Warzone 2.0, the return of intel missions. I loved these in MW 2019 and Warzone 1. They gave us more insight into the story. They gave us something else in Battle Royale and in Plunder to do that sort of enhanced the experience. I loved these a ton. It was super fun to make content on them, and they gave us really cool like cutscenes and information on the game and where it was headed. I really hope to see those return as sort of a side thing to do for those that are interested. Another huge gameplay aspect that Warzone 2 desperately needs, and it's long overdue here in Warzone 1, an official ranked mode. We all know skill-based matchmaking is going to be in Call of Duty forever. It's not going anywhere. It makes them way too much money. But the fact that there is such strong skill-based matchmaking in pubs where there is no way to see just how good you are, there's no visible rank for that, you're not grinding for anything, you're just playing sweaty lobbies to play sweaty lobbies, it's kind of obnoxious, to say the least. A ranked mode with, hard skill-based matchmaking would be fine because you're actually grinding for a rank and playing in those sweaty lobbies for a reason there. And it obviously differentiate a reason to grind the game in general, ranked versus pubs, whatever you are interested in. So a ranked mode, absolutely something I hope they prioritize. Something else I feel like is worth mentioning is Gunsmith variety. Of course, there's always going to be metas anywhere where there is skill-based matchmaking or competition in play. People want to use what is the absolute best of the best. And over the past few years of Warzone, we've discovered multiple different metas. Of course, that's a huge topic here on the channel, and we're always breaking stuff down like that. But meta variety and Gunsmith variety with setups. Something that was all too repetitive in Warzone 1, in my opinion, is the weapon setups themselves. For instance, look at the Cold War rifles. All 20 of them could have the exact same 5 attachments, and you could go from there and have a perfectly fine setup. It's so boring. I want to be able to use a variety of barrels, magazines, muzzles, and stuff, and have a chance of competing in the meta rather than being forced to use, one very specific setup that is the same on all weapons if you're wanting to use the absolute best version of that gun. So weapon variety and gunsmith variety to me is another big priority that I hope they look into more. And then finally, this is something that was a huge quality of life update in Warzone 1, one of my favorites, lootable perks. As we know, the looting system has been a more controversial aspect of Warzone 2.0. When we initially saw gameplay, it was through like an old chest looting system, an inventory looting system like Blackout. A lot of players liked it, a lot of players didn't. The leaks have now changed to say that looting is going to be more similar to Warzone 1, but we know that perks were not available as ground loot. They initially weren't even going to be a part of loadouts or the buy station at launch either, so perks were sort of MIA. I'm honestly okay with perks not being a part of loadouts or in buy stations, but I'd love to see them lootable. If we have to have a core battle royale aspect of that RNG and we don't want it to be guns with no loadouts, make it be perks. Be able to find perks in chests or on the ground. I feel like that adds more incentive to loot even after you potentially get your custom guns in your loadout. I think lootable perks were a great thing to add to the game, and I hope to see them return in Warzone 2 because they spice things up. You never know what you're going to get. As mentioned, in my opinion, one of the better QOL updates from Warzone 1. All that being said, though, that's what I'm hoping to see from the Warzone 2.0 update. That's going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed, a like rating would be seriously appreciated. If you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button and join us on the road to 1 million. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.